WAND News at 5.
A shooting at Mattoon High School this morning. A student opens fire in the cafeteria, wounding another student. A teacher jumped to action, disarming the gunman. The suspect now in custody. The victim in stable condition in the hospital. WAND News crews have been on the scene shortly after those shots rang out. We have team coverage for you tonight.
We certainly do, and we start with WAND's Doug Wolfe, who talked to students who witnessed the whole thing. Doug?
Caitlin's dialed in.
Well, Dawn, this is the type of thing you would never think would happen in a small town like Mattoon, but it did, and the teachers and police were ready to handle it. For students at Mattoon High School, a day of terror and confusion.
Well, I was in the weight room because I was in PE, and then a teacher came up to the door and started jiggling the door and was like, "You need to get out, you need to get out."
Shots fired in a school cafeteria without warning.
You could just hear this noise, and it sounded like someone was slamming books on a table or something. And then you just hear like screams, and I ran back into the classroom that I was in, and the teacher was just like, "No, no, no, run out."
The first instincts to figure out what happened and then escape.
I didn't think it was a drill because of the distress in the woman's voice whenever she called lockdown. So I thought it was pretty serious, but I didn't think it, because the teacher was so calm about it, we didn't think it was anything too terribly serious because of the way he handled the situation.
And all the kids were freaking out, saying that there was a shooting in the cafeteria, and then everyone just started going ballistic when that happened.
Students were taken to Riddle Middle School, where they were processed and released to their parents. Hugs and tears, ending a long morning. Students were reunited with their parents between 1 and 2 this afternoon at Riddle Elementary. Streets are still blocked off around Mattoon High School by the Illinois State Police. Reporting live in Mattoon, Doug Wolfe, WAND News.
Doug, thanks. While students were moved to safety, police canvassed the school.
WAND's Meredith Juliet has been on the scene at Mattoon High since shortly after it happened. Meredith.
A student was wounded after a school shooting that happened at Mattoon High School earlier this morning. Police say shots rang out at 11:32 this morning in the cafeteria. That's when the student was wounded. Now, police say a teacher was actually the one who took down the shooter, disarming them. Neighbors around the school say the response time for law enforcement was very quick. They said it all seemed very organized, and we know that several different police stations responded to that call of shots fired in the high school.
When I arrived here with the other officers, the suspect was contained, secured, and the one victim that was involved in the shooting was transported to Sarah Bush Hospital, where I believe the last report is in stable condition.
Now, all the students were taken to Riddle Elementary School to be reunited with their parents. Currently, students can't get to their cars in the parking lot because this is an ongoing active scene. Now, police say the last they heard, the student who was wounded is in stable condition. Live in Mattoon, Meredith Juliet, WAND News.
Meredith, thanks.
For that.
Parents and neighbors remain on edge tonight.
No doubt. WAND's Lexi Ratterman continues our team coverage now. Lexi, what are parents saying tonight?
They are definitely in shock. You have heard from officials to students, but there is so much more on the parent end of this that you haven't heard a whole lot about. They say it was their worst nightmare, and they also say they felt like they were a little in the dark during the whole situation. One Mattoon High School family lives not even a block away from the school. The mom was at work when she got a simple text from her daughter saying, "I'm okay." The mom says she didn't know what to think when she read the text, and her daughter told her what had happened.
First of all, I went out and told my husband, and I did lock my doors. I'm thinking, okay, what if somebody's running through the neighborhood looking for a place to hide? And then after I heard all the sirens and saw the commotion, I thought, there's nobody going to be here at my house, so I come outside to see what was going on.
Neighbors say they watched police respond very quickly to the situation and are very proud of how it was handled. Now at 6 o'clock, there will be a prayer service and a comfort service for the families and students that were affected by this situation. As always, continue to stick with WAND as we give you the information as we are given it. Live in Mattoon, Lexi Ratterman, WAND News.
Thanks, Lexi. Mattoon School District officials say they're saddened by today's event and will provide counseling for students in need. They added their thoughts and prayers are with the injured student. Again, here's what we know right now. Just before 11:30 this morning, a student fired shots in the cafeteria at Mattoon High School. One student was wounded. We do know a teacher helped disarm the gunman. That shooter is now in custody, and police believe the student acted alone. As for the victim, we're told that person is in stable condition. Stay with WAND News at 6 and 10 for up-to-date information.
Lincoln Manor Nursing Home in Decatur is closing tomorrow. Workers say they got notice last night. The nursing home is closing in 48 hours. All 60 of the residents there currently being relocated. Owners say the facility ran out of money to keep open, and they're not sure if the employees will get their next paycheck.
Now, first weather from Storm Center 17, home of the exclusive Miles Storm Runner Equinox.
It has been a hot and humid day here in central Illinois, with most all of us warming up into the low 90s, but then you throw in the humidity and it felt more like the mid to upper 90s, even pushing near 100 in many locations. Highs across the area today have warmed up in the mid 90s, and it's still 94 in Springfield, 91 right now in Decatur, and in Danville. Champaign, we're sitting at 93, and it's 94 in Shelbyville. ShopandPoke.com tower cam overlooking Eastern Illinois University in Charleston shows that hazy sky in the background. A couple of puffy fair weather cues. Otherwise, we're going to call for mainly clear sky. Now, some storms are expected to develop to our west overnight tonight, and they will stay there. By midnight, we're back in the mid-70s. There is a little bit of a cool down, but this heat's going to stick with us for a little while. I'll let you know when the cooler temperatures arrive and when some rain could pay us a visit as well in just a bit.
Farmers around central Illinois are out in their fields this week.
Always busy. WAND's Joe Ostrowski shows you how some spent the day helping a friend in need.
Dozens of farmers worked near Niantic Wednesday.
Like 10 combines and 15, 20 trucks.
Their goal? Harvest 650 acres of corn and beans by day's end. But they weren't harvesting their own crops. They were filling in for their neighbor, Dan Stahl, who had bypass surgery this month. Steve Stahl is his cousin.
He's doing real well. He's been out watching us a few times, or yesterday and today, and I think he has his good days and bad days, but I know today's going to be a good day for him.
Among those who helped, Dan's neighbor, Ed Leonard.
We've been neighbors for, this family's been for generations. So not just that, but the other farmers in the field here, our farms are next to each other. So it just seems natural that if one of us is in need, the other can help.
Natural and not unusual. Community harvests like this happen around Illinois every year.
There's always a story of somebody that, you know, goes through some kind of hardship, most likely medical, like in this case with Dan, that, you know, the local farmers around them and their neighbors come out and try to help each other when the time comes, because surely they would do it for us.
Still, for the farmers who receive that help, a day of work can mean a lot.
I think he's kind of overwhelmed. I'm sure he's pretty emotional for him, too.
In Niantic, Joe Ostrowski, WAND News.
Other volunteers served lunch at Niantic Christian Church, so those doing the work would have something to eat. They say they're sounding a horn for justice. Jewish advocacy groups demanding Republican Congressman Rodney Davis vote in favor of the DREAM Act. That act would protect nearly 800,000 children who were brought into the U.S. by their parents. Immigrants at the rally reminding people it does not just affect them.
I've been affected, but besides me being affected, it's just not me. It's just my mom, my sister, my relatives, my friends who care about me. It's just not me.
Country is not the country.
Representative Rodney Davis says he will vote for the act if it includes border security.
Searching for survivors. The rescues continuing tonight after yesterday's earthquake, plus cleaning up after a hurricane.
This is clearly going to be the most devastating storm in the history of our island.
The devastation now as Hurricane Maria left the island and the desperate situation Puerto Ricans are facing after this.
Illinois' most watched newscast. WAND News at 5.
Many people still wrapping their head around that 7.1 magnitude earthquake that just rocked Mexico City.
Right. Rescuers continue to dig for people in the rubble. The earthquake killed at least 225 people, including an entire school of elementary students. It's not just the Mexico City area suffering, but the entire area surrounding it as well. Puerto Rico picking up the pieces after Hurricane Maria made landfall today. The video is unbelievable. 500 shelters on the island full of thousands. The storm tore apart homes, winds over 150 miles an hour.
We have a lot of houses over here that are wooden, that are in flooded areas. Those houses had no chance.
The Puerto Rico and the San Juan that we knew yesterday is no longer there.
St. Croix, Dominica, and Guadalupe are just a few of the other places hit hard by Maria.
Then there's Jose, leaving its mark on the East Coast last night at the Jersey Shore. Slammed with wind, rain, and high waves from the tropical storm. Some of those waves as high as 15 feet, wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour. Florida and Texas still recovering from Hurricane Irma and Harvey. Tomorrow is your chance to help the hurricane victims. WAND-TV partnering with Cromwell Radio Group and the American Red Cross to help. Thursday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. in the Circle Drive of WAND-TV. You can drop off your donations. We're accepting cash, check, or credit cards. If you can't make it to the station, we do have a special website set up.
Do you see that lady in that picture taking off the coat? She was shocked by what she was getting, but you know, that's pretty dangerous to stand that close, it looked like.
To big waves like that?
Yeah.
It's like, come on, people. You know, we've had really quiet hurricane season the last couple of years, and now it seems like Mother Nature is making up for this 3- or 4-fold.
Right, but that just doesn't, I mean, it's not just that. It's the earthquakes, and it's the wildfires.
It's everything
going on.
Yes, exactly. And here we are sitting in the Midwest, high and dry, and it's hot and humid.
Hot.
Yeah. Whew.
Way hot for this time of year.
What quite a change this month has done. Cold to start, hot to finish so far. Highs across the area today. These are our First Financial Bank highs. 93 Effingham, 95 degrees in Springfield. That's going to change to 96 in a second. That actually ties today's record high, which takes us back to 1931 of 96 degrees. Peoria tied the record as well. Coming up, I'll let you know how long this heat and humidity is going to stick around before a little relief returns after the break. Happy Wednesday, everybody. It has been a sunsplash day across central Illinois, but it has also been a very hot and muggy one. Our Sarah Bush Lincoln Weatherbook Network camera in Mattoon showing that beautiful sunshine right now. As you look off in the distance, you can see a couple of the trees starting to change color, which is typical this time of the year, and the corn and soybeans really changing as well, as a lot of farmers getting out into the fields, getting their crops now started to be harvested. 91 the current temp in Mattoon, heat index at 95 degrees. It is not only hot, it is humid, so when you take that current air temp, you factor in the humidity with it, it just feels downright miserable. All right, we're talking about record warm territory. Bloomington, Champaign, Charleston, Decatur, Springfield, notice temperatures for records today in the mid-90s. A lot of these take us back to the late 1800s or even early 1900s. So today, the record tied in Springfield of 96 degrees, taking us back to 1931. Close in many other locations. We'll wait for some of the official climate numbers to come out here over the next couple of hours. Looks like about midnight or so, that's when the official climate numbers will be released for the city of Decatur and Champaign, since the climate sites are not the airports. 91 in Decatur, 92 degrees currently in Lincoln. Shelbyville, we're at 94. It's 92 in Paris and 93 at the airport just there south of the city of Champaign, 93 degrees as well in Vandalia. Dew point temperatures mid to upper 60s. This is the reason why it feels so muggy outside. You get that dew point above the mid 60s. That's when it feels very sticky. Take the current air temp, you factor in the humidity. We have heat indices right at the triple-digit mark in many locations. It's going to stay this way. Notice how far to the north the warmth surges tonight. 91 in Chicago. It's actually warmer in Chicago and here in central Illinois than Orlando, Florida, and also in Houston, Texas. El Paso, Texas is at 92 degrees. So you can see that warmth continues to surge way to the north tonight. Now what's causing this is a big ridge in the jet stream. We've got the trough here digging in across the Rockies, allowing that cooler air to surge to the south, really helping to pump in the heat and humidity. And it's going to stay this way, it looks like, over the next several days. 92 tomorrow with a heat index value of 95 to 100 in many locations. The first day of fall on Friday, it's not going to feel like it. 91 the high, 90 again on Saturday, and we stay in the low 90s into the day on Sunday. And that little reminder that, yes, fall officially does begin on Friday, even though it's not going to feel like it. 3:02, the autumnal equinox occurs. As we say goodbye to summer, now we roll into the fall season officially. Not much happening at home tonight. Now we are watching back out to the west, and we'll talk about it here in just a couple of seconds for some thunderstorms. But the big story is Hurricane Marie continuing to churn her way off to the northwest at 12 miles per hour. Max sustained winds at 110 miles per hour, starting to really batter the island now of Hispaniola, impacting the Dominican Republic. And some storms are going now just to our west here across Iowa into southern Wisconsin. The potential here does exist for maybe a severe thunderstorm watch here in the next couple of hours. For us, we stay high and dry tonight. Your rebound precision cast shows this cold front slotting toward the area. Storms erupt to the west of the Illinois River And that's where they stay. Our atmosphere is capped here in place, so we're fairly stable. Even though it's hot and humid, we still have the good ingredients to get thunderstorms going. That front washes out, and we're high and dry thanks to high pressure to our east over the next several days. So mostly clear, warm and muggy tonight. We're down to 70 for the overnight low. Our Thursday, much of the same. A couple of extra clouds in the morning, otherwise sunny, hot, and humid up to 92. South winds at around 5 to 10. Goes down at a little bit before 7 o'clock. Sunshine Friday, Saturday into Sunday, highs in the low 90s, heat indices in the mid 90s, upper 80s Monday and Tuesday. An isolated chance for a shower and a little bit cooler by Wednesday.
An overhaul to a cancer center.
The upgrades at a Central Illinois hospital after the break.
HSHS St. John's Hospital in Springfield getting a new cancer center.
The nearly $4 million project will include a fusion center, medical oncology, physician clinics, and radiology oncology, all inside the St. John's Pavilion. The expanded space will add 10,000 square feet to the existing cancer care center.
This will actually double the cancer center treatment area. This will also allow for our center to treat more patients, which was one of our goals when we set out to expand our new project. One of the other goals that we had in our new space was that we would actually bring more natural lighting so that our patients would have a more healing environment.
The cancer center is expected to be complete by spring of 2018.
Well, how about this? Drugs shortening the lifespan of Americans. The study looked at death rates in 2000 and 2015. During this time, overall life expectancy increased by 2 years, reaching 78.8 years. But deaths from drug poisoning, mostly opiates, doubled.
President Donald Trump took to Twitter to back a renewed push to repeal the Affordable Care Act. Republicans are working to readdress the issue, but they continue to fight over how to cover pre-existing conditions.
So we're going to give flexibility to cover sick people, but sick people will be covered.
Millions will lose coverage. No guarantee of pre-existing condition.
Republicans hope to vote on it next week. Democrats are trying to fight it again.
Stay tuned. Another look at that steamy forecast next. Tonight, America's Got Talent finale, 7 o'clock. The Good Place tonight at 9. And we'll be here with the latest news, weather, and sports in high definition at 10.
Afraid to sweat?
No, because we're going to turn on the air again if you haven't already.
Yeah, you've got
it's that warm out.
Stuffy.
It's crazy, isn't it? Polar switch. What happened? Polar opposite of the beginning of the month to the end of the month. We were well below average. Now we're well above average.
But you know what's odd? It's not really even getting that cool at night right now.
No, it's not. We've got a lot of moisture out there, even though it's not translating to rain at the surface. We're getting that moisture coming out of the Gulf of Mexico. It makes it feel muggy out there. The rest of this evening, hot, muggy, humid. You just choose the word on this one. 84 at 7 o'clock, low 80 by 10 o'clock. We're back in the mid-70s by midnight. We're only going to be back in the low 70s by tomorrow morning. The heat stays with us. 92 tomorrow. The first official day of fall on Friday. It's not going to feel like it. 90 with heat seasons the next couple of days of 95 to near 100. Sunshine for the weekend. Highs in the low 90s. Near 90 again Monday and a Tuesday. I feel like it's a Vegas type forecast this time of the year. But by Wednesday, a little cool down. A few thunderstorms are possible. The highs closer to where they should be here in the upper 70s.
All right. Yeah, boy, what a day.
What a day, what a day.
Illinois.
We're going to bring you more, of course, from Mattoon on the school shooting there. Appreciate you being with us.